One of the things I like best about Vintage Story is that we can customise the worlds to suit ourselves and our own gameplay. The range of options is fantastic, and I think that the devs have done a great job in enabling us, to actually create worlds that we will love playing. Now, I'm looking for a new world because I want to start a new world in 1.18. And I thought I would go through with you the customization that I use and some fairly difficult decisions I'm having because of the new world gen. So let's have a look at me starting up a new world and what it's like. I'm looking for a single player world, and I want to create a new world. And looking at this, we've got 4 options. We have the standard default survival experience, balanced exploration, building and survival. Exploration for players that don't enjoy combat or a significant focus on survival. Greater focus on exploration and building. Wilderness survival for players that enjoy challenging combat and survival mechanics. Greater focus on survival. Randomly respawn within 5,000 blocks upon death. Good grief. There's an experimental one, Homo sapiens, removing all the lore content and the evidence of current or past civilizations. Much stronger focus on realistic survival. That's a very interesting one that's coming in. And then the creative one, where you don't have to worry about, starving to death or being killed by creatures. You just get a flat terrain and most wonderful array of blocks. Now, I like playing the standard one. But down here we've got a button called Customize. And this is where it gets really interesting for me. I'm going to stay with the classic world height. The style is survival, as we've just said. Game mode survival. Where I'm having a bit of a decision to make is whether I go for the temperate start or a warm start. I don't want to start in an icy or a cool environment. But I have generated worlds with a warm start, and the whole area I've been in has been too hot. I have not been able to get to a cooler area to grow crops. So I think that I'm going to go for a temperate start. Random respawn radius 50 blocks, that's fine. Now, it used to be that we always got a couple of days grace before the monsters appeared. In fact, it used to be that we got some days grace before even the wolves appeared. These days, the wolves, the bears, the hyenas, they are already there waiting to eat you. But do I want to give myself 3 days grace? I don't particularly need to. I'm an experienced player. So I think I might go for no timer. Now, the death punishment is that you drop your inventory contents. I found that when I lost my inventory contents, I tended not to go more than a day away from home. And that's because I'm a very acquisitive person. I hate losing anything. I hate dropping inventory. I don't even like dropping 1 block if my inventory is full up. So I'm going to keep the inventory contents because I know from experience that if there's any chance of losing blocks, even soil, I will not want to go too far exploring. And frankly, exploring new terrain, the beauty of the game, is half the pleasure. Seasons enabled. Player lives infinite. You can actually go for less, but I'm going for infinite. I don't want to play hardcore. The lung capacity is this new one we've got of drowning underwater. 40 seconds is a reasonable amount, but I'm just going to make it up to 60 seconds. I'm just giving myself a little bit extra. The days in the month, I'm fine with that. Winters, I'm fine. Block gravity, I'm fine. I don't want to farm underground. If you do want to build inside cliffs or underground, this is an option for you. Body temperature hardness, I'm fine. Creatures, aggressive, passive, never hostile, aggressive. Creature strength, normal. Player health points, normal. I'll go for all this. Hunger rate, normal. Walk speed, normal. Food spoilage rate, normal. Now, look at this. Tree sapling growth somewhat slower. Why would I go for that? I would like normal. Let's just go for normal. Where I'm going to alter is this. Because I make YouTube videos, there's an awful lot of tool making and grinding. And I just want to give myself a little bit of an edge here to 125. The tool mining speed is another one. I tend to cut out the times when I'm mining vast amounts of ore or salt or something like that, unless I'm talking about something that people might find interesting. So I'm going to increase this. Now, I normally increase it to 150, so I think I'll stay with that. The ProPick node search radius, they've set it to 6 blocks. I'm going to stay with that. I would normally have 8 blocks, but I find it interesting they've got the 6 blocks here, so I'll keep it. Global deposit spawn rate, the spawn rate of all the ores, that's fine, 100%. Now the microblock chiseling, I'm going to do most cubic blocks. This will enable me, if I ever do get into chiseling big time, to chisel glass and other things like that. Let's come down here. We want the coordinate overlay. We want the world map. I mean, I can get lost in an empty room. This is a necessity for me. Lore content, of course, it's interesting. Why not? The temporal storms is also an interesting decision. Now, this is new. Temporal gear respawn uses. I will stick with this. I will stick with the storm length 100%. I think, because if I do want to farm drifters, as I think we're going to have to, I don't want to shorten this. Temporal stability, yeah, we want that on. It's part of the game. Temporal rifts visible, yes please, I don't want them invisible. Now the gear respawn uses, this is new at 20. It used to be infinite. I don't want to have to spend my entire time looking for temporal gears if I respawn, and I do die a lot. So I'm going to put infinite so that one gear will always set my spawn, and then it will stay. Sleeping during temporal storms. This is a tricky one. Allowed or disallowed? I'm going to put allowed. I don't have to use it, but if I do, the facility is there. Now, where I'm having a real issue is on climate distribution. There's realistic, which is as the world would be. Cold in the poles, goes warmer and warmer to the equator, and it gives you much bigger biomes. Or patchy is what I've always played. And I've always played patchy so that I've got access to different woods and different biomes. But I have to say, with the new world gen, the patchy is very sketchy. Instead of getting a whole big jungle, I will get sort of 2 or 3 palm trees. It's a very difficult decision for me, this one, but I think I'm going to stay with patchy. Land cover, now this one I think I am going to alter. What I've noticed about the new world gen is that it is extremely hard to get around. I could change this upheaval rate. I don't want to. This produces large-scale hilly retain, and I'm looking at this. You can lower it, and it's something that I think people might want to do in the big servers, but it makes it incredibly difficult to get around. However, I love water, so we've now got the option. Let me click on that. Come here. I'm going to go for 90% land cover. Land cover scale, how much ocean will be between pieces of land. I'm just going to leave that because I'm not sure of the effect, but I am going to give myself a bit more water because I think with rafts, this may be the key to the problem I'm having in getting around. Geologic activity, I'm going for rare because even with rare I'm getting some good spawning of this, which I love. I love it. World edge, I've never reached one yet. Polar equator distance. Now, you can actually, I could lower this and then go for a realistic climate, but I'm going to keep this where it is. Global temperature, normal. So I think that's fine. Global precipitation, normal. So that's fine. Forestation and shrubs, normal. I don't want to do anything to affect that. And it does actually affect you quite a bit, because I don't think that forest floor transfers into medium earth. So if you have too much forestation, you don't have enough earth in which to grow food, at least until you find some. So that's quite an interesting one, that one. Now, I don't want to spend hours and hours and hours looking for some rare deposit, even though rare does give you quite a lot. So I'm just going to go for common here. And then surface, who wants extremely rare on the deposit frequency on the surface? This is the indication that there is copper and tin underneath. I'm going to go for common. Snowmelt is fine. Land claiming I want. Now, class exclusive recipes, if you have these enabled as they are here, you won't be able to make things like the blackguard sword or sewing kits and things like that. You would have to buy them all. It's an added layer of issue for me if I'm playing single player, and that's why the devs have enabled us to take this off, so that we can make anything we want. And I think in single player that makes sense. So now we can apply that and we can generate our first world. I'm going to do a separate video on some of the worlds I've been looking at.